Hi, listeners. Sebastian here. Really excited that we are continuing with our series on the seven thieves of success. This time around, we'll be talking about negativity and jealousy in the workplace. To start with, I thought, Raghu, I should ask you that I've always noticed that you're a positive person, but I'm pretty sure that there are aspects in your life that make you feel negative. Can you share any of the things that you're negative about?
Hey Seb, yeah, it's very human to feel that one of the thieves of success, which I mentioned, everything is there and it's very human, and negativity is no different. It keeps coming now and then, right? In many forms, through your thoughts. It could be because of your experience, but the most important thing is I try not to be negative, and for two simple reasons. Because in short term, it spoils my mood, and in the long term it would spoil my mood many times. So I realized it's totally not worth spending your time fretting. Just not worth it, sir. So why fret when you can actually sweat it out, right? So for anything in life, I keep away from things that spoil my mood.
Great. So
Yeah,
basically the persona that I see and interact with is the real persona. So that's good to know.
that
Uh,
is. You should have figured this out for the first year. 21 years later, you should take it for granted that it is the one.
yeah. So moving on, would you say that negativity and pessimism are the same thing from a professional standpoint?
Totally. So even I would say both are twins when you can't differentiate one from the other. At least I can't find a difference between them both. They're very synonymous in that aspect. Negativity is a tendency to be downbeat, disagreeable, and skeptical. It's a pessimistic attitude set that always expects the worst. You got what I'm saying, right?
Yeah,
I say
yeah.
this from both a personal and a professional standpoint as well. I can give you some examples for our listeners. Let's say when you don't back yourself on a new challenge at work, when you don't have enough experience of it already, when you constantly think you're the next in line to get fired, when you think you're going to get a bad rating in your next appraisal. See, these are all thoughts. Before even you try a solution to a problem, you're deciding that it can't be solved, and constantly bickering about your boss without actually telling him or her how you feel, which when discussed might immediately solve the problem. So my POV on negativity or pessimism in its essence is to have a grim outlook to things, life, people, problems.
Makes sense. But I mean, there must be some root cause to negativity, right? Do you think it stems from fear or it stems from laziness or something else? What do you think is the root cause for people to be negative or pessimistic?
Seb, see, that's a very important question, and glad that you asked. To know the birthplace of negativity is very critical to our journey in killing it. So there are like six, seven the root causes, which I'll quickly go through, which with some pointers in it. It might be a little rant, but it's important that we understand. The first one is comparing yourself to others. Like you keep mentioning, right? Even in my previous podcast, that comparison is a thief of joy. If you compare yourself to others, you should give up doing it immediately. The only person you should measure yourself with is your past. So next one is Seb, repeating negative affirmations. What I mean by it is it can these negative affirmations, right, can literally paralyze your ability to become happy and succeed. And the worst thing is once you repeat them long enough, right, you start to believe in the wrong vision you've created in your mind.
Yeah, and these negative affirmations might be imposed upon you from society or from people you know. Also, it may not even be self-actualized affirmations. It might be things that people are telling you.
Yeah, somebody can very simple tell you that you just can't do a job better than another person for that matter, right?
Yeah.
They might compare you and say that guy is really good and you can't do better than them. And if it keeps running in your head, you obviously are not going to do anything better.
Yeah.
So but if you change it and say take it as a challenge, you're going to really make it happen, in fact. So that brings
Okay.
me to the third point, right? Underestimating your abilities. So don't repeat negative affirmations, and don't underestimate your abilities. You should never judge your skills that will work against your favor. See,
Okay.
always what I suggest is assume that you can do something. At least I go like that. It works for me. Whenever I assume that I can't do something, it's simple. That's it's simple that it can't ever be done.
Hmm.
So yeah, but if I assume that it can, that something can be done, right? Even if I fail, that means just I know that I have to put more work into it. Simple as that.
Right.
So the fourth one is it's very critical, avoiding full responsibility for your life. Right. That's when you kind of start the blame game, right? Once you start the blame game, somewhere you are in the cocoon thinking that, okay, you're not responsible for a lot of negative things that happens to you. Instead, you blame on things that happen around you or people around you. So
Hmm.
the most important thing is being content and satisfied involves fully accepting your influence on your life and using it properly. Whether you believe it or not, you're the master of your universe, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's it. Other things are fate and whatever they call it. Those things cannot be helped by you, but 95% you're the master of your universe.
So
Yeah.
something else that I have been thinking about regarding this topic is how you can try to channel your negativity to achieve something positive. In my case, I've noticed that whenever I am thinking negatively about a topic or about something in my life, at some point I just flip the switch, tell myself that it's actually not me thinking about it negatively. It's other people telling me things negatively, or it's a third party in my head that's saying a negative thing, and that I can actually take that and fuel to do something positive.
It's like
So
Jordan who kept doing it, right? Will make
yeah,
enemies in his mind if it's not
yeah.
even there, and then just go about disproving those things.
I mean, have you ever channeled your negativity to achieve something positive?
It's a tricky question. So I keep doing it. I know sometimes when somebody says that I can't do, that's when
Hmm.
I get supercharged. That I keep doing it.
Okay.
See, yeah, that's you can't call negativity because I somewhere believe that you can't channel negativity because nothing good actually comes out of itself. Unlike,
Okay.
let's say, hatred, right, can fuel you to achieve more. Let's take Manchester United players when they play against Liverpool or Manchester City, right?
Hmm.
Their hatred will get them pumped to win the match. It
Ah,
applies for Liverpool and City players as well. It may not be the
yeah.
same when they play a Burnley or a normal match, right? The
Yeah.
same goes for when, let's say, all these local rivalry which goes between all the sports, right? You can see
Yeah.
that. You
Yeah.
can channel anger to achieve more. And that's another emotion, right? Like hatred. Anger has
Yeah.
led to more freedom movements, fighting corruptions, unjust things. But negativity is, to say the least, is plain simple useless. And it's
Yeah.
important one refrains from it completely. That's the main reason. If you notice, anger or
Hmm.
hatred is not there as one of the thieves of success, but negativity is,
Yeah.
right? So coming to your point, right? I just have another two, three things. If I
Ah.
can take the time to talk about the root causes of
Yeah. Yeah.
negativity.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Then see, another thing which we tend to do, or most of us tend to do, and I've done it many times before, and I'm very constantly aware, or at least make myself aware when I'm doing it, is looking for other people's approval. The crowd is a
Okay.
bad indicator for what's right for you. It's because the masses aren't authentic to their true selves. Instead
Hmm.
they always stick to the norms and go with the flow, right? And how can they be true to you? I
Hmm.
think Steve Jobs said it the best, right? Don't let the noise of others' opinion drown out your own inner voice. I think that's
Hmm.
powerful. And
Hmm.
the most important thing for me is the next one, that is saying yes when you mean no. If I
Hmm.
have to say what my measurement of a wise man, I would really say that is or her ability to say no at the right moment, right? Plenty
Okay.
of adults still, struggle to develop this precious skill, and which as a result, they end up lost in unnecessary commitments, tons of debt, excess obligations, negative emotions. It has like viraling negative effects by just saying yes to things when you mean no.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
and
that I think we
we
have
come
discussed
across
in
all
some
the
of
time,
the
right?
previous podcasts also, this tendency for people to overcome it when they don't,
Yeah,
when it's not something they're passionate about. And yeah, definitely those kind of obligations that you take upon yourself when you don't want to do it will lead to a lot of negativity. So yeah, very valid point. Saying
yeah,
yes when you actually mean no.
yes. Another thing is contemplating about your past mistakes. See, sometimes we get confused between mistakes and crimes. Mistakes are no crimes, right? And does not deserve your time contemplating so much. Instead, it actually, the best service you can do to your life's mistakes is to learn from it. So that is what will take you places, and not dreading over your mistakes all the time and thinking I made this mistake and feeling bad about it. Yeah, and the final one, I think it cuts across many of these thieves, is staying around negative people. Seb. We all know that our environment has a huge impact on our thoughts and actions, right? Fortunately or unfortunately, it can work. It's a two-edged sword, they call it, right? Or knife. So if you surround yourself with 5 intelligent people, you will soon become the 6th one, and vice versa also is true, right? Let's say let's take an angry dog on the street, right? You would run for your life. So apply the same logic to negative people. I don't think it's any different from that. You should run for your life. So these
good.
are some
so
pointers.
good. I have at least one of those mistakes I have not made. I have not surrounded myself with negative people. At least you are a typical example of a positive person I've surrounded myself with. So
no, all of us
out of all the potential reasons why I could be negative, one thing definitely I have been smart about.
It's likewise here. It's not that I wasn't surrounded by negative people at one point or the other in life, but it's again a learning. You got to be, or it's more of an awareness, right? If somebody's going to drain your energies, I think you got to be very quick to act on it. Yeah.
So moving on, Raghu, I think we need to also address the other part of this topic, and that is jealousy. I know that you have started your entrepreneurial journey very recently. I just wonder whether it just started out of a jealousy of seeing how I led my life as an entrepreneur for so many years.
Out of many things, you can include jealousy there as well, I guess. See, why I'll tell you, because when I look at entrepreneurs, right, you and many of them, right, entrepreneurs today are just very simply defined as an individual who creates a new business, bearing most of the risks and enjoys most of the rewards, right? I would actually go a little on a different path or point of view. Because entrepreneurs, as I've mentioned in one of my LinkedIn posts also, I strongly believe is the reason this world goes around. They should also be seen as an innovator of new ideas, goods, services, businesses, processes. History has had so many of them. Entrepreneurs are not only business owners. There has been Aristotle, Alexander the Great, Columbus, Edison, Einstein, Henry Ford, Wright brothers, John Keats, many, the list goes on, right? They're legendary entrepreneurs in their own sense. There are thousands of kings in history, but no one had the grand idea of ruling the entire world, right? So it's Alexander the Great for you. Ford converted horses to horsepower. So I'm jealous because they created something out of nothing, and I had a lot of fun. I at least assume, and freedom while doing it, right? So to answer your question, I was jealous of you. That's why I started, and I am still jealous of all of them. So it's okay if your kind of jealousy is a good kind, is what I think. By that I mean that it should be the harmless kind to others and the motivating kind for yourself.
But I mean, you will agree that jealousy is an extremely powerful emotion. So I was wondering whether in your professional career, working for some of the biggest companies in India, whether you have ever felt the effects of it.
See, the most important thing is if others are jealous about me, I have zero issues. Like I said, right, it's okay. The most important thing which I should be aware is I should not be jealous on others, especially the wrong kind. So that's okay. Yeah, there are situations, it always happens, but I don't put a lot of thought into that. It's okay. It's like a mosquito sitting on the shirt. So that's about it.
So regarding these two subjects of negativity and jealousy, do you have any tactics that you commonly use to overcome these two emotions or these two thieves of success?
See, like I said, I'm going to concentrate heavily on negativity. Jealousy is there, but generally everybody, it's a very, very tricky subject to cover in one podcast. It's a very powerful and a very confusing thief. So maybe over time in our journey, we'll cover. When I mean journey is not immediately, over a long time. But negativity, I kind of have some answers, and I have some, there are simple solutions which has worked for me, and many other positive folks also whom I know in life follow these kind of steps which help them, or they are the reasons why they're positive. I understand. 6 points I have. The first is exercise. Get your daily dose of dopamine. We are beings, right? We are, end of the day, the chimps, right? We as beings are meant to be active, and if you're not active, again, it's an issue. A lot of these negative thoughts are going to enter your mind. If you're very high on dopamine, I don't think, which I think you would relate well.
100%. It actually makes sense why I've become a significantly more positive person in the last 10 years.
Yeah. Hey, especially, see, if you're negative when you go for a heavy workout or a run or a swim, whatever, right? I think the negativity just vanishes, at least for me. And our listeners can try it out. Yeah. Next thing is take care of your body by eating well. A lot of us underestimate the power of eating well. It is extremely important, not only to your physical health, but very closely linked to everyone's mental health, right? So you feel really bad after a bad meal. I'm not saying you should not have your cheat meals, enjoy your meals. Food is a very important part of our lives, and we should all, cheat in our meals. But I'm saying predominantly, most of the meals, I mean.
So I think when you say eating well, you are referring to eating healthy, right? Not eating well as in eat a lot of food.
I think last podcast we covered, right? Quality over quantity is very important when it comes to food. Eat absolutely. A lot of vegetables.
I totally agree.
Good meat. All these things. Then the third thing is something everybody enjoys doing, but sometimes we don't pay its due respect. That's sleep. I would say 8 hours of sleep is a must, according to me. If you're too busy to sleep, then you're too sleepy to perform. That's all I can say.
Coming from the man who's having sleepless nights looking after a newborn baby.
That's why, nowadays I have these afternoon naps where I switch off my phone, and it's mandatory I sleep for 1.5 hours, and I do it, and that fuels me till 1-2 o'clock in the night.
Yeah, that's great.
So end
that's
of the day, I don't compromise on sleep, whatever. And
another advantage of being an entrepreneur, you can take a nap in the afternoon.
Nobody sets your calendar. You set people's calendar, and again, you should not set calendars only, or meetings. Too many meetings are bad. The fourth one is stay away from news. Because why I say that, Seb, it's filled these news these days, right? Be it newspaper, media, social media, it's filled with negativity, fear, and that extreme bad news that has happened fills the newspapers. So I don't know. I've never bought a newspaper for the longest time, and even news I don't listen. Social media, I'm active, following the positive people, and I'm active putting out the things which I do, but or I learn from social media. But I just stay away from all the negative stuff. The beauty of the internet is, right, again, you can choose your news. Unlike newspaper, you have options with internet. So look for positive knowledge is what I would suggest. And fifth is read books. Knowledge clearly makes you wiser. And the wiser you get, your judgments get better. And better judgments know that negativity is useless. See how well it's interlinked.
Very, very, very. But would you say, when you say read books, are you referring to like autobiographies or fictional books, or what kind of books are you referring to?
Anything. I think, it's somebody's choice of books can be different. But knowledge comes in various forms. It can be anything, right? Somebody should not read a book which they don't enjoy, is what I would say to start with. Wherever they want to gain knowledge or whichever is their interest areas, I think you can get started. Once you get that habit, you will get into reading a variety of books. You might start with a single interest books, and then eventually you can increase your range, is what I would say.
Right.
And the last, but not the least, Seb, which again, we spoke about the root cause. You are who you surround yourself with. One of the biggest lessons, I would say, why I keep saying this is, I've learned from my granddad. In Tamil, he would say all the time, "Un nanban yar endru sol, ni yar endru solvein." What it means is, you tell who your friend is, I'll tell you who you are. I think he said it during one of my toughest phases in life, and it has always stayed, and it's always helped me. Finally, it's not a tip, but just a point. Go ahead and enjoy life. Celebrate this cosmic lottery, which we have won, to have been born as human beings on this wonderful planet. I sound very zen or like monkish, but we should all enjoy our presence in it. Smile, love, share, hug, just live.
Yeah,
I'm
and
saying
of
this.
course, there's always like an asterisk, a postscript sort of tactic that any of our listeners can follow, and that is to continue listening to Cubicle Chimps. We are sure to keep giving positive content out there. So
Yeah. No, that is true. See, why we ask them, or we also keep, putting it in our, social media, right? On a very serious note, like most of our listeners, we are also evolving through this podcast, or also through life, work, and business, right? Hence, we share our own experience, do some research on these topics, and evolve each day to be just that little better. We do these podcasts with all humility, which we want to let our listeners know, and our only hope is that we can get our listeners to start thinking on some of the topics we discuss. Starting point of opinion is deep thinking on things. I think they should listen and enjoy the journey with us. And more, I think, so we were discussing this morning also, no, we'll get this more conversational. We'll get them to put some questions. It's not our journey. I think that's why we put it as Cubicle Chimps. Let's evolve, and we'll all evolve. And 1 year, 2 year, 10 years down the line, I think we'd have created something precious.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So Raghu, again, thank you for putting in the effort to research the topic and give our listeners so much insight into how they can get over these two thieves of success. Do you have a quote to leave us with?
Yeah, I think it's a signature style. We'll not stop doing it. I think it is, I refuse to entertain negativity. Life is too big and time is too short to get caught up in this empty drama rather.
Okay.
So I read it somewhere, and the next quote there itself, I don't know, it was coincidental. It read this way: okay, drama does not just walk into your life. Either you create it, invite it, or associate with it. I don't know, it was just a great coincidence. So yeah, these are the two quotes for negativity.
Awesome. So thank you, Raghu. Thank you, listeners. This was yet another podcast where I learned a lot and I enjoyed myself, and I hope you guys also learned a lot. And see you soon.
Yeah. Thank you, listeners. Enjoy the journey. Until next podcast.